especially with the admission of the AFP that they were the one who spent for the 15 million Youth Leadership Summit and not the Department of Education. Let us remember, regardless of which office in the government we belong, public trust always carries accountability. To tone down the mood of our investigation at para mas maintindihan po ako ng mga tao, mayroon hong prominent na line sa pelikulang Star Wars. Ang sabi, comes with great power is great responsibility. If you translate this to constitutional language, let us all be reminded, public office is a public trust. The trust that is given to us by the people carries with it due accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro. The chair,
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
with the indulgence of Congressman Flores, Congressman Acop, the chair recognizes Congressman Acop.
I would just like to ask some clarificatory questions regarding the interpellation of the Honorable Luistro. May I know who can answer me? Sino ang makakasagot? Kanino bang program itong sinasabi natin na Youth Leadership Summit? Is it a program of the DepEd? The Armed Forces of the Philippines? Kanino? Sino makapagsasabi sa akin?
Major General Bajau.
Bahaw, sir.
Bahaw.
May I be recognized, Mr. Chair?
You're recognized.
Your Honor, it's a Philippine Army-wide program, a 3-day activity po.
It's an activity included in the budget of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's one of the PPAs insofar as your budget is concerned.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, when you conduct these events, you do not need the help of other agencies or the funding of other agencies.
I would disagree to
Sabi ko
that, Your Honor, because we can only spend for our own troops, but the need of other participants and the subject matter experts have to be carried by participating agencies po.
What is the legal basis why the program of the Armed Forces of the Philippines is participated on by other agencies of government? What is the legal basis?
Your Honor, we just operate in the context of the Peace and Order Councils po. Our participation in the POC would also reflect on the participation of other agencies when we conduct this activity, sir.
Oh, direct question na lang, General. Did you receive any funds from the confidential funds of the OVP in the conduct of these events?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
There's no funds coming from. There are no funds coming from the Office of the Vice President.
Yes, sir. No funds
Regarding
coming
this.
from them.
Thank you. May I ask Yusek Memphine?
Yes, sir.
Yusek Mempin, you're recognized.
Why would
Yes,
Why
Yes,
would
Your Honor.
certifications be addressed to you?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as I mentioned to a while ago, I was asked by the Office of the Secretary to
By
get
the-
report from the
You were asked by the please
Office of the
repeat.
Secretary.
By the
Office of the Secretary.
and who in the office of the secretary asked you that? Hindi naman pwedeng magsalita yung office of the secretary, di po ba? So
Yes, sir.
there must be somebody from the office of the secretary who asked you to do that.
It's
And may I know who that is?
it's our former Chief of Staff.
And who might that be? And who might that be?
Former USEC Attorney Mike Po po, sir. Your Honor.
Yusek Powa, would you agree to the answer of the Yusek Memphine?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Congressman Acop, yes, I confirm that.
That you asked him to ask for the certifications from the different unit commanders of the Philippine Army?
If I may explain, Your Honor, the answer is
Sagutin
yes.
mo muna yung tanong ko bago ka mag-explain.
Yes
Di ba?
po. Yes po.
So, tama yung sagot sa akin ni Yusek Memphis.
Yes po.
Na kayo po ang humingi sa kanya na humingi siya ng certification doon sa mga units ng Philippine Army na nag-conduct ng YLS.
Your Honor, if I may qualify, hindi po specifically on YLS. What I asked for was for any accomplishment. Kasi po yung ayon doon sa AOM na natanggap namin, pag nagbigay daw po ng rewards, you needed evidence of success of the information you received from the rewards. I mean, you received through the giving out of rewards. So because of this, I coordinated with Yusek Mempin to provide any proof of accomplishment para po doon sa rewards na na-disburse ng confidential funds.
Thank you. May I ask, you have been in the Army, Yusek Memphis, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Ano po ang part ng programang YLS na may kasamang rewards? Can you please tell me which part of that program would require the giving or the awarding of rewards? Which part of the program would require the gathering of information? Kasi yun po yung purpose ng confidential fund ng DepEd. 4 po yun. Now, which part of this?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, for the conduct of YLF per se, there's no in that particular any areas of that for the
Yes.
rewards, giving of rewards, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Basahin ko man ng ilang beses yung programa na yon, walang nagsasabi doon na pwedeng gamitin yung confidential fund ng isang agency. Would you agree with me?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So, Yusek po mali po yun. Kasi kitang-kita naman na natin that you ask for these documents to support your liquidation insofar as the confidential fund of the Department of Education is concerned. Kasi hindi naman kaya basically primordial na kasama doon po sa mga events na yun And yet, you are submitting or you submitted to COA documents to support your liquidation of the confidential fund of the Department of Education. Wala Kahit na anong basa ko. Kasi, for your information, yung sa COA, naging controller ako ng pulis kaya alam ko kung ano ang sinasabi nitong mga membro ng Philippine Army ngayon Alam ko rin na ginagamit nyo lang yun para i-justify yung expenditure nyo ng confidential fund ng Department of Education. Di ba? You just use that to justify your liquidation of the fund. Di po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
If I may also just, if Your Honor would allow me, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Michael Powa, you're recognized.
Basically, just to expound and just so I can inform the committee factually what happened. We received an AOM back in February asking for certain documents, one of which are the DEPs, which are the document evidence of payments. Another one would be for pag may rewards daw, kailangan daw po merong evidence of success. Because I am not aware on how the confidential funds are operationalized, I went to Yusek Mempin, who is our former security consultant, to ask if there would be any document that we would be able to show the COA na meron namang success on the premise that whatever activity was conducted on the ground by the military was targeted because of information received from DepEd due to those rewards given out. Yun po yung pinanggagalingan ko. And when I received the certifications, I submitted them as such in response lang po to the AOM.
Mr. Chair, just a clarification. No?
Opo.
I think
Yes, Congressman Abante, you're
I
recognized.
heard him mention that he is not aware of the nature of the confidential fund. Is that right?
Not the nature, if I may clarify, Mr. Chair, not the nature, I understand the nature of confidential funds, but on how it is actually operationalized or used on the ground, under oath, I would like to state for the record that I'm really not aware hindi ko po nakita yung fund, hindi ko po alam kung paano siya ino-operationalize on the ground. Ang participation ko po ay naganap nung ako po ay OIC for finance kasi at that time, nung na-receive namin yung AOM. And then we had to respond to the AOM. And so because we had to respond to the AOM, I had to get all the documentation that COA was asking for po through that AOM.
So ibig sabihin po, hinihingi nyo lamang po itong mga documentation na to para lang ma-justify kung paano ginamit. Pero in actual, hindi talaga doon ginamit. Tama po ba? Parang gano'n ang pagkakaintindi ko eh. Parang hinihingi nyo lang po yung certification nung nilabasan na kayo ng AOM.
Tama po.
Tama po?
Tama po. Nung lumabas po yung AOM,
Saka kayo humihingi nito.
kailangan daw po ng evidence of success.
Yes. So kahit na hindi doon ginamit, gumawa kayo ng mga documentation na parang doon ginamit. Parang ganun. Kung tama po yung pagkakaintindi ko.
Hindi naman po, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
lumalabas po, hindi naman po doon ginamit yung confidential fund. Pero itong documentation na in-issue po nila Yusek Mempin, yun ang sinabit natin sa COA just to justify yung AOM.
Mr. Chair, again, this is just under my impression nung nakuha ko yung certification na po. The certification po kasi, when I read it, stated that they conducted yung mga YLS based on the information received from LGUs, DepEd, etc. So ang impression ko po, and again, this is just my impression, is that because of the information they received from DepEd, sinagawa nila targeted kung saang areas yung YLS. Again, that is just my interpretation of the certification, Your Honor. And now, whether or not that is indeed the case, I really do not have personal knowledge to
Yes, but you have
confirm.
no idea if the fund coming from confidential fund was utilized from LYS. Wala po kayo idea.
I cannot confirm or deny that, Your
tama.
Honor.
Yes, the chair would like to recognize. Yes, please continue, Congressman Akop.
Thank you. So, Yusek Memphis, wala pong ibinaba ng pondo sa Armed Forces of the Philippines or sa Philippine Army units. Wala.
As para sa akin, sir, wala pa daw po, sir.
Yung mga units ng Philippine Army which conducted the summits, wala rin po kayong pondong natanggap galing sa DepEd. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
That's correct. Now, may I ask, bakit kayo nag-issue ng certification? Hindi. That's not you kasi hindi naman ikaw nag-certify eh. Why did you issue certification?
Sino po sasagot?
Mr. Chair,
Colonel Boransing,
yes.
you are recognized.
Mr. Chair, sir, as I earlier mentioned, sir, because almost all of our activities on the ground are multi-stakeholder. When we appear in activities of one or many agencies ask for certifications of attendance, as I have asked the Secretariat to issue us with a certificate of attendance that we attended this activity. We assume that certification was also for for that purpose. So a lot of other national government agencies and local government units asked for certifications in that manner also.
So you're trying to tell us that it was Yusek Memphis which required the submission of those certification? Siya po ba ang nag-require sa inyo?
Yes, he asked, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir.
Was it through a written document or what?
He called our commander, sir.
Ganun na po ba ngayon sa our forces of the Philippines?
Well, sir, the other agencies also, like for instance, the Department of the regional offices of the Department of Agriculture, TESDA, they also text me during our activities. So I think it's a accepted mode of unofficial communication, sir.
For your information, yun pong purpose ng confidential fund ng DepEd in its accomplishment report ay 4 po, for your information. Number 1, counterinsurgency programs. Number 2 is abuse prevention and control within schools. Number 3, anti-illegal activities operations and anti-extremism and terrorism programs. Di po ba? Nowhere could I find dito po sa accomplishment report na sinabmit ng Office of the Department of Education, where I see na yung activity ng Armed Forces of the Philippines is enumerated. Wala eh. Wala akong makita. And yet, yung mga ginawa niyong activities, nandun na yun, dun sa, sa liquidation ng contingency fund ng DepEd. Bakit ganun? Yusek Membin, did you not ask why? When you were asked to get certifications or to secure certifications from those units of the Armed Forces of the Philippines which conducted the wireless, hindi mo tinanong bakit?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as former Yusek po mentioned, I was also informed that the Office of the Secretary needs some impact or outcome of the efforts of the Department of Education in terms of protecting the youth, including the out-of-school youth and some IPs. So I was not aware of that is the purely justification for the confidential fund. So I coordinated with the Philippine Army commanders, my former colleagues, to give feedback or in terms of certification that they have conducted wireless in coordination with various stakeholders to include Department of Education. So yun po yung parang pinaka-basis ng coordination ko po sa mga Philippine Army units na nandito po ngayon.
Kasi maski sa certification, Yusek, wala rin ako nakitang na amount na nakalagay doon sa mga certifications ng mga unit commanders ng Philippine Army. Wala. So, may ibang purpose lang yung pagkuha nyo ng certification na yun. And as I've said, it is used to justify yung expenditure ng or pag-spend ng confidential fund ng Department of Education. Now, COA, would it be true na nagbigay po kayo ng CN o credit notice doon sa first 2 quarters ng use ng confidential fund ng DepEd?
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
May I know the basis why nagbigay po kayo ng credit notice? Kasi what I know is if you give credit notice, everything is proper.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, bakit po kayo nagbigay ng credit notice doon sa first 2 quarters?
Since nag-submit po sila ng documents that we required in the AOM, we deem them okay na po for the compliance.
Parang sa joint circular din,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, yun nga po, yung certifications is
And-
one of the requirements po.
When I say parang sa joint circular, you do not do anything to find out whether the data or the certifications given you would be reasonable or true. Hindi nyo tinitingnan, di ba?
Mr. Chair, since dun sa certifications, nilagay po nila na due to the collaboration between the DepEd and the Philippine Army, wala pong mga batang recruited. Okay na po yun sa amin.
Okay na sa inyo. Pursuant to your, shall we say, circulars.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ganon.
Yes,
Ganon po
Mr.
yan.
Chair.
Paano nga natin mababantayan yung kung pag ganyan ang inyong pag-iisip? Di po ba? Now, Mr. Chair, please allow me to come up with my parochial concern. Because I heard a while ago that Yusek Densing was in charge of the allocation of the BEFF or Basic Educational Facilities. Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yusek Densing, you are
That's correct, sir.
recognized.
Correct. Pwede ko bang malaman bakit walang napunta sa Antipolo na school building?
Sir,
During your term, or the term of VP Sara?
Ang nahawakan ko po actually is 24.
Hindi, tinatanong ko. Sagutin mo muna ako.
Pero sir, ang sa Antipolo kasi, Antipolo, Taytay, tinanong ko rin kasi yan dun sa technical working group, wala na pong buildable space. Yun pang binanggit sa akin.
Walang buildable space.
Opo.
There's a fund with the DepEd na pambili ng spaces, di po ba?
Wala po. Yun po ang nilabi namin nung nakaraang
That is
budget.
for GA 2022?
24 po, 24.
Hindi, tinatanong ko nga eh.
Sa 22 po
Congressman
wala.
ako noong 2022.
Opo.
My wife was a congresswoman
I wasn't there yet, but there was
since
no fund, sir.
2019.
I was not there
Pero
yet.
wala kaming natatanggap.
Opo.
Your records will bear me out.
Opo. I
As a matter of
recognize.
fact, the first time, 2022, nag-usap po tayo. Kasi kinausap po ninyo yung mga yung mga members ng parties. Di po ba? And we talk. Sinabi ko yung concern ko na yun.
Opo. We did. In fact, nung ginawa nga nila, may mga districts nga, legislative districts na wala po.
Now, may I ask you, Yusek Densing, is that following the mandate of the Constitution that you are supposed to equitably distribute government resources?
That's the part of the criteria that I mentioned to the National Technical Working Group.
Tinatanong nga kita eh.
Opo.
When you do not allocate school buildings doon sa isang lugar, is that equitable distribution?
Again, sir, the problem was there are no buildable spaces in the area.
Sino po ang nagsabi?
Yung National Technical Working Group po.
Itong 2024, humingi ako.
Opo.
2024, humingi ako. There are buildable spaces. Pero wala pa rin. And you cannot explain that to me.
Well, sir, I could not answer because the fund was really small at the time. Originally at 9.7 NEP.
So what you're trying to tell me, Yusek, is that hindi po priority doon yung distrito ko po.
No, sir. Priority po inyo dahil mataas po ang shortage sa Antipolo.
Kasi meron pa kami 3 shifts eh.
Opo. Kaya po, priority kayo, Taytay.
Pero wala pa rin kami. Kung priority kami sa mata ninyo, bakit hindi kami nabibigyan? O
Yun
baka
ba?
tama yung sinasabi ni Johnny Pimentel.
Hindi po tama yun. Hindi po tama yun.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Jonathan Kate Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yusek Mempin.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr.
Sir,
Chair.
is there any other person, is there any other Yusek who has been given the same designation to oversee the wireless programs? Oh, ikaw lang, from DepEd.
Actually, I was not the one in charge of the wireless. I was just tasked to coordinate with the Philippine Army with regards to the report of their conduct of wireless. But in Department of Education, the Operation Strand is the one who has the mandate of under po sa kanya yung program ng wireless but hindi po sa administration staff.
So are you saying na as far as these certifications are concerned, ang only parang role mo or designation mo was to collect them?
Yes po, yung
To collect them?
to coordinate po.
To coordinate with them?
Yes.
Okay, and the
Yes,
collection was for the purpose of liquidating the expenses, or hindi mo alam for what purpose?
I was not exactly aware, but I'm made aware of they need some to see the impact of the collaborations of the Department of Education with the Philippine Army and other stakeholders that resulted through the wireless that resulted to the prevention of recruitment through violent extremism and other
sir,
threats po, sir.
You said impact, no? Impact of the wireless conducted by the AFP? Ang ibig mo sabihin?
Yes, sir, which is the prevention of recruitment.
Yes, so what then is the role of DepEd when it was a purely AFP event?
Because if not all, majority of the participants are also coming from the
Yes,
schools.
but other than them being students, it's as if DepEd is claiming an activity that was not theirs in the first place. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir, with just purpose of coordination.
What coordination? You just ask for the certifications. What coordination are you talking about? Tapos na yung activity eh. You just ask for a certification. What coordination are you talking about, Yusek Mempin?
coordination for the certification because
For the certification, but not for the activity itself. Tama ba?
yes, sir, because
Yes,
that's my
but then you are claiming that the impact was because of the DepEd activities. You're asking for certifications, claiming that this was the impact of the activities of DepEd by spending their confidential funds on this and that, etc., etc.
Your Honor, that be correct. It's not DepEd initiating, but the activity of, because the conduct of wireless is primarily the activity
Kaya
or
nga,
program of.
you're asking for a certification that they conducted this and they included this number of young persons, and the only contribution actually DepEd has was that most of the students there were enrolled in DepEd. But actually, wala kayong actual participation in the wireless. Tama po ba? That's correct, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And all you did was collect the certifications from the different units of the military that they conducted these activities and that they had this number of participants. Tama po ba?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, now Mr. Poa, who directed you to secure the certifications?
Mr. Poa, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, no one directed me.
No one
I was
directed
the
you.
one who coordinated.
So initiative mo lang na mag-secure ako ng certifications kasi may kailangan akong justify na expense. Tama po ba?
Opo, but yes, sir, but not necessarily for YLS, because if I may be very candid and honest, hindi naman po ako familiar sa YLS to begin
So
with.
why did you ask Mempin to secure the certifications?
Your Honor, because we needed to secure not certifications but evidence of success for any purchase of information gathered or rewards given in exchange for information.
Okay, now
So-
what information was purchased in the conduct of the YLS by the AFP?
Your
Tell
Honor,
me.
I honestly wouldn't know exactly.
So why would you ask for certification like that?
I asked Yusek Mempin, being our former security consultant and the
Yes.
one that has coordination with AFP, to see if due to the information given by DepEd, they were able to have targeted programs wherein we can respond to the AOM and show that there was in fact success in
Now you just heard Yusek Mempin say that his only participation was in securing the certification.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, why would you ask him for certifications? Ang sabi mo nga, that this is the impact of the rewards that you've been giving. This is the impact of the information that you have been rewarding. Di ba, what is the impact there? Tell me, Mr. Poa.
in my impression, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, is that if the AFP were able to target, kumbaga, hold not just YLS but hold programs, targeted groups because of the information provided by DepEd, then that would show that it was successful.
Okay, what information was provided by DepEd? And to whom was this information provided?
Your Honor, I really,
Yes.
I am under oath.
Yes.
Hindi ko talaga alam.
O kaya nga,
kung
hindi
anong
mo alam,
operation.
hindi niya rin alam, yet you're just using these certifications to justify something.
Your Honor,
Hindi mo, hindi mo alam ano ang rewards, ano ang i-reward mo. Hindi niya alam ano ang information na binili ninyo, di ba? Yet you ask Yusek Mempin to secure certifications. Si Mempin naman, secured certifications from activities conducted by the Philippine Army using their own funds. So saan dyan ang ano? Tell me, explain to me, Mr. Poa, where is the connection of the justification for this expense with the certifications issued by them and in relation to supposedly the rewards for the information that you gathered by using confidential funds?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, under my theory, Your Honor, if we were able, because may mga anti-insurgency, yun yung nakita ko sa accomplishment report, no? Anti-insurgency campaigns. Hindi po ba? So, anti-extremist campaigns. So, that's why I approached Yusek Mempin and said, meron ba tayong makukuhaan ng any report or any certification, kasi yun ang nasa JMC, showing that because of the information that DepEd was probably able to give the AFP, na target nila kung sino yung mga susceptible to insurgency and were able to at least prevent them from being recruited. And in this case, ang nabigay po nila would be seminars, and that is why yun po ang sinubmit ko sa sa response namin sa AOM.
Okay, now parang for me, forgive
Yes,
me
yes,
po.
I understand.
Ang labo kasi na you saying na ito yung information that we gathered using this reward money supposedly, and that in effect the AFP conducted these seminars. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
But from the testimonies that you've heard, walang connection whatsoever ang activities nila sa yung activities na sinasabi mo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Your Honor. Although at that time, hindi ko naman po alam na ganun yung na sinasabi nila. No?
Yet you're using the certifications to justify an expense of your office? Parang
Your
mali
Honor-
po ata yan, ha? Di ba? I mean, you just testified now na hindi mo nga alam anong connection nito whatsoever, yet you used these certifications issued by them to justify an expense with COA.
Mr. Chair,
Please continue.
respectfully, Your Honor, ang confidential funds, hindi naman talaga sa pagkakaalam ko, no? Theoretically, hindi naman pwede ibigay ng isang ahensya sa kabilang ahensya yan. That is something that you can only use as per the JMC for purchase of information so that you can
Can I stop you there for sorry, Mr. Poa? Pero yun nga, paulit-ulit tayo eh. Na it all boils down to the fact that you are using a certification of an activity of a different agency who never spent any single peso coming from your office to justify your expense. Tama ba ba?
Mr. Chair, again, respectfully, the justification is not that they spent the money of DepEd. The justification that under my
You attached it to justify your expenses nga, di ba?
yes,
So tell me where's the connection there?
Mr. Chair,
Please continue.
respectfully, the connection, Your Honor, is if they were able to hold yung seminars nga, which in the beginning, hindi ko man lang alam na seminars yung ibibigay na certification po, just to be clear. If they were able to hold the seminars in certain locations because of information given by DepEd to them that these locations have vulnerable learners, that wherein seminars have to be held, for example, yun po yung justification namin na nasubmit sa COA on the success of the expenditure. But not success meaning binayaran po namin ang AFP. That was never the impression, Your Honor.
So ang sinasabi mo is that AFP conducted these seminars because you gave them the information that this sector is vulnerable.
Not me per se, but that is the theory, Your Honor. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
AFP. Colonel Buransing, sir.
Colonel Boransing, you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
When the YLS was conducted in your area by your division, you conducted it because it was a regular program of your division. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Now, how about you, Colonel Panopio? Did you conduct a YLS in your area with your division or with your battalion because it is a regular program of your battalion or of the FP?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
See? Mr. Poa? Do you want me to ask the others?
Oh,
They will still be giving me the same answers po.
yes, Mr. Chair. Your Honor, I am not in a position to really tell you kung talaga
Then
ba-
who is in position to tell me that?
Your Honor,
Sino?
it would probably be the Secretary, Your Honor, or the ones that are responsible for the confidential funds. Kasi wala naman po talaga, and again, I'm under oath, wala po
So,
talaga
kaya,
akong...
who is responsible for the confidential funds?
Your Honor, the Secretary and the SDO are the only ones
Well, then
that are privy.
you know, if only
Opo.
they would have been here to answer these questions para mas maklaro po. Kasi right now, everyone is really confused, no? Una, why will you be using a certification for an activity of another unit? Tama ba? It's confusing, right? If it's just between us nga, it's confusing eh. Now, if you hear the answers of the AFP, silang lahat had nothing to do with DepEd. When they conducted the YLS, it had nothing to do with DepEd. It was their own programs that they were pursuing. Now, here comes Yusef Mempin collecting the certifications from the activities conducted by AFP, submitting it to you, and you submitting it to COA to justify your expense.
Yes, Your Honor, that is...
It's wrong, di ba?
Yes, but
From no matter how you look at it, it's so wrong.
Mr. Chair, yes.
Please proceed.
But yes, factually, that's really what happened, Your Honor. I got the certifications, I got the documents evidencing payment, the DEPs, which are the acknowledgement receipts. I attached them because that's what COA was looking for, and I submitted to COA, Your Honor.
Kaya nga. Anyway, I've already asked my questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Briefly, you are a lawyer, tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Ang tanong ko lang, hindi po ba ninyo binasa muna yung justification bago ninyo sinubmit sa COA? Kasi po, ang hinahanap po ninyong justification sa AOF is insurgency, tama po ba?
Opo.
Tapos ang sinasubmit ninyo seminar. Hindi po ba medyo, siyempre tayo, abogado tayo eh, mabusisi tayo sa mga dokumento eh.
Yes.
So, hindi ba parang Well, ako, napapanood ko po kayo, napakagaling po ninyong sumagot, very articulate po kayo, very sharp po kayo as a lawyer. Pero dito po, parang hindi ako makapaniwala na nag-submit kayo ng isang dokumento na iba yung intention. So, yun lang po yung comment ko. Yes, Congressman, with the indulgence of Congressman Valeriano? Yes. With the indulgence, okay po ba na may tatanong lang daw po siya?
Sige po.
Sige po. Yes, Congressman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dong
Thank you, Mr.
Rosales.
Chairman. May tanong lang ako sa DepEd. Did DepEd coordinate with the Philippine Army during the entire year? Hindi po yata sila gumastos ng fourth quarter ng 2023. DepEd? Nag-coordinate po ba yung DepEd sa Philippine Army?
Sino po sa DepEd ang po pwedeng
Mr.
sumagot?
Poa?
Ako, Your
Yes,
Honor,
Attorney Poa.
Ako, Your Honor, I wouldn't have any personal knowledge on coordination except I cannot tell you the date. I don't remember now, but there was at least a parang MOA sign, dapat MOA na fina-formulate ang operations team namin with the PNP during my time as Chief of Staff. Pero hindi na-conclude yun while I was still there, Your Honor.
May I know if
Maybe
Yusek Escobedo, who is the Undersecretary for Operations, may I know if babae ba ito? Resty, may I know if she is present? Wala po. Wala po.
Well, I will just continue, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please continue.
Maybe I will ask the commander if the program lasted up to the end of the year. Meron po kayong programa sa mga commanders from DepEd from this fourth quarter of this CF?
Sino pong sasagot? Sino sasagot?
Sa commander po ng Philippine Army or
Colonel Panopio?
Sige po.
Or Colonel Panopio?
May again ask a question, Your Honor.
Well, yung programa po ng Philippine Army at saka ng DepEd, meron po kayong MOA na sign. Ang alam ko po si Mr. Atty. Poa signed the response to the AOM po. Totoo po ito, Mr. Poa?
Yes po, na ako po yung nag-sign ng response to the AOM po.
That's why kailangan po ang sagot regarding these certifications, Mr. Poa.
Apo, yung certifications naman po, sir, if
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
please proceed.
The reason why at that time I thought that it was at least yan kasi yung natanggap ko and I thought appropriate na rin to isubmit is because based on the wording of the certifications, nakasulat naman po doon that these YLS seminars were conducted in coordination and from information gathered from DepEd amongst one of the agencies. So, since yun po yung certification at yung wording, at least at that time, I thought it was appropriate na po. Now, whether or not it is appropriate for COA or for this committee, at that time po, I just submitted what was available.
Okay, thank you. So yun po, is Commander, if the program lasted until the end of fourth quarter?
Yes, Your Honor. We have the last report dated 30 December 2023, Your Honor.
So meaning to say may disconnection na yung paggastos ng confidential fund ng DepEd up to the fourth quarter. Tama ho ba?
I am not aware of that confidential fund, Your Honor.
But from day one po, wala kayong ginastos.
Yes, Your Honor. We spend our own resources from the Philippine Army and respective participants from the PNP, LGUs, and other stakeholders, sir.
Is this the infantry division commanders po? Ito po yung sinasabi nyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And this is the YLS also, the Youth Leader
Yes,
Summit?
sir. The
Yeah.
Youth Leadership Summit is a multi-stakeholder engagements under the EO70, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ang tanong po kanina ni Senior Deputy Speaker, kung meron daw po bang MOA o Memorandum of Agreement between DepEd and the Philippine Army with respect to this program. Yun po yung tinatanong kanina ni Senior Deputy Speaker. MOA.
None that I'm aware of
Wala
na
po
may
kayo.
MOA.
Okay.
Wala po akong
So kayo po,
MOA.
aware, meron po ba kayong ano?
None that we are aware, Your Honor.
So, okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
just want a clarification.
Congressman
here.
Abante.
Yusek Mempin,
Yes,
why were you
Mr. Chair.
appointed as Undersecretary when you are in the armed forces?
I was already retired by
Yes,
January.
you're retired already, but why were you appointed?
I was
Being in the armed forces, why were you appointed? Are you an expert in education when you were in the armed forces?
no, sir.
Oh, why were you appointed?
I was recruited by the former secretary and vice president, and I'm not aware of the reason why I was recruited, except maybe for the trust and confidence, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Okay, would you think that because the secretary has a confidential fund that it should be used with the agreement of the members of the armed forces? Ang pinag-uusapan kanina yung MOA, ano? Hindi ba dapat yung MOA yan ng agency, for example? Dapat kung magmo-MOA ang Department of Education, dapat ang MOA niyan would be between the DepEd and DND. Am I right?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
Meron ba?
None that I'm aware of, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
So, ibig sabihin, hindi nyo ginawa ang dapat yung gawin.
Your Honor, I was not the one in charge of wireless.
I'm not referring to if you're in charge. What I'm saying is this. That is between departments in the executive branch of government. The MOA should have been between the DepEd and the ND. The question is, why was not it done?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as mentioned by Yusik Poa, our operations strand is on the process of the engagement with Department of National Defense with regard to wireless, but I think it's not yet been consummated. Or
Yes, but there should be a MOA. Am I right?
that's correct.
And that
Your
was not done. Am I right?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Therefore, it is improper. Am I right? It is improper. Am I right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
yes, SDS. Dong
Well,
Gonzales.
yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the point is useless because gumastos ang DepEd even from the first and to third quarter, but no impact on the YLS, other military operation. Yun po yung point ko. Parang useless ang ginawa ng DepEd na hindi naman nag-serve yung purpose ng YLS division. Tama ho ba, Mr. Chair? Gumastos ang DepEd na walang kasaysayan sa paggastos nila sa CF from first, second, and third quarter.
Actually, lumalabas, wala pong nilabas, wala pong ginastos dahil as we speak, lahat po ng mga ahensya, yung sa Army, wala po silang natanggap. And they spend their own money.
So, meaning to say, justified pala not giving DepEd confidential funds in 2024. The same goes for 2025 then. Diba, Mr. Chairman?
Tama po kayo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the Chair would like to recognize the next interpellator, the Honorable Congressman Rolando Valeriano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yung tanong ko po kung pwede kay Attorney Resty Osias. Tama po ba, Osias?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po.
Osias, you
Honor,
are recognized.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you po. This is in regards to Yusek Gloria Mercado regarding po do sa statement niya last hearing. According to her, nag-lunch kayo sometimes in October 2023 sa Linden Suites. Do you confirm that?
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir. I confirm that. There was an activity. I think it was a training on procurement. And I'm just not quite sure about the date, but there was such an activity.
October.
And, October, sir. October. Yes.
Apat yata kayo. The two is in DepEd consultant, tama po?
Initially, sir, we were not just four. We were a group, including our staff. And then, but we were in one long table. And yes, with two others, me, Yusek Law, and some other staff, sir.
And during that meeting, according to Yusek Gloria Mercado, nung last hearing po, nilapitan daw sa ni Asek Monsayak at nagsabing mag-usap-usap na lang kayo tungkol sa bidding para sa DepEd Computerization Program for 2022. According to her, that statement was made to her in your presence. Totoo po ba to?
I recall in that meeting that then Asek Reynolds
Please
Munsaya.
answer.
Yes, sorry.
Please
Totoo
be
po ba?
responsive to the question.
Yes, sir.
So, totoo po. Sa pagkakaalala niyo po, anong sinabi talaga, yung talagang salita ni Asik Musayat? Ano po ang naintindihan niyo ron?
Asek, we were discussing, I think it was about the utilization of the funds for the procurement, sir. And it was a discussion like there was something like there is a need to be able to utilize the funds immediately. And there was some kind of a remark that, something like maybe pwede naman na lang pag-usapan ng kung paano maayos, basta importante ma-utilize yung fund because the fund for the procurement was about to lapse in December of 2023. I understand this fund was 2022, sir. By the way, sir, just for purposes of background, I was quite new in the department. I just joined the department sometime in January of the year.
So, bago lang po kayo na.
Yes, sir.
At that time, you were already familiar with Mr. Monsayak. Kilala niyo na po siya as Assistant Secretary?
If I recall it right, I was former HR director, sir.
Yeah.
So, if I recall it right, Asek Monsayak was, the appointment of Asek Monsayak was, I think, October 1st of 2023. So, he was presented as one of the new officers of the DepEd, I think in that flag ceremony of that week. So that was the first time I saw him. And I think the very first interaction with him was on that
So,
lunch.
nung marinig niyo po yung statement niya ni Asek Monsayak, what is your reaction?
Well, I was a bit surprised, but at the same time, I was also amused, sir, because as a lawyer, if I thought it was just a joke, no? The offhand remark on something like talking about it. I thought it was some kind of a joke. It was just nothing. I didn't really mind it that much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Chair, mukhang totoo nga na may naging pahayag si Mr. Monsayak kung saan sinabi niya kay Yusek Gloria na noong panahon na yon as head of procuring entity na siyang nagre-review ng dokumento ng mga bidders, pinagsabihan niya nga na ituloy na lang. At kung saan hindi tinanggap ni Yusek Gloria yung mungkahi na yon at dapat masunod yung tamang proseso. Nakakapagtaka lang, Mr. Chair, na si Asek ay head ng procurement at malapit na kaibigan ni BP Duterte na siya pang nagpahayag o nagpahiwatig sa isang head ng procuring entity at pati na rin sa harap ng isang back chairperson. Mr. Osias, noong hearing, sinabi din po ni Yusek Mercado na kayo'y isang direktor sa DepEd. Totoo po ba ito?
Yes, sir. I was the former, at that time, I was the direct report of Yusek Law. I was under her strand as the director of HR.
Kailan po kayo na-appoint?
I was appointed January 12, I think, but I reported January 17 of 2023, Your Honor.
2023?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ano po yung posisyon niyo talaga?
Director 4 ho.
Hanggang ilang director po ba ito? Director 6, 7?
Hindi ho. Ang pinaka-highest po na director is Director 4 ho. Sa
Director 4.
Yes, sir.
Ano po yung responsibility ng Director 4?
Depende ho sa assignment, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Kayo po, Mr. Osias. Ano po
Yes, sir. My responsibility is primarily on HR, Human Resource and Organizational Development. So, kami po yung in charge ng mga programs natin with respect to teachers, and then the non-teaching personnel, and then yung kami rin po ang in charge doon sa organizational effectiveness and the benefits that we can probably give our teachers, so through our offices.
Aside from that position, meron pa ho ba kayong ibang hinawakan sa DepEd?
Well, sometime November of 2023, sir, I was designated as the chair of the BAC 6. No? BAC 6 is the early procurement activity designated BAC.
BAC?
Yes, sir. Bids and Awards Committee.
Sige. Na-mention nyo po na BAC member noong panahon na yon. Sino po ang BAC chair at that time?
Sir, no November, BAC chair ho ako. Naging BAC chair ho ako ng
Naging
BAC
BAC chair
6.
kayo?
Ng BAC 6 ho. Yung BAC 6. But, yun ho.
Sige po. Hindi ba po pagka ganyang malaking government agency, especially yung DepEd, sometimes maraming mga BACs assigned for the procurement of particular category. In the BAC that you specifically belong, ano pong mga bagay yung procurement ang kailangang dumaan sa inyo? Particular.
Yes, sir. As far as I recall, ang dumaan sa akin ho ay laptops.
Laptop?
Yes, sir. Laptops for teaching, non-teaching, and yung DCP project ho.
So, kabilang po dito yung procurement relating to DepEd Computerization Program.
Yes, sir.
Tama po?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2024 ang original ko ho.
Noong back member kayo, naging party po ba kayo noong October and December 2023 bids for the DCP?
Yes, sir. I was also, before the 2024, before the November designation as BAC chair, I was also part of the DCP 2022, which was bidded in 2023. Yes, sir.
Na-mention nyo rin po na naging back chairperson. Kailan kayo naging chairperson po ng back?
I think if I'm not mistaken, around November na po ng 2023.
November ng 2023.
Or is it December? Something November or December, sir. Kasi my memory is not really at this point.
Nare-recall nyo pa po yung mga project na dumaan sa inyo as back chair?
Yes, sir. Originally, since I was handling the BAC 6, it is supposed to be the early procurement activity BAC, no? The BAC in charge for early procurement activity. So, kasama ho, yung nare-recall ko ho is the DCP project for 2024 ho sana. For 2024 DCP project. And laptop for teachers, laptop for non-teaching personnel. Ganun ho yung aking nare-recall na
So, up to now po, are you still working with DepEd bilang director at BAC chair?
Not anymore as BAC chair, sir, but I am still working with DepEd. Yes, but I am no longer connected with the HR. I have been reassigned under the new administration. I have been reassigned to the office of the Undersecretary for Procurement.
So, pwede kong sabihin, ranking official pa rin kayo ng DepEd?
In terms of the fact that I am an appointed director, sir, yes.
Yeah. And you play an important role kasi kayo parte ng BAC before, di po ba? That oversees yung DCP, yung computerization, a flagship program of the DepEd. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. As far as I am concerned at that time, yes, sir.
Tanong lang po, would you also receive envelopes from Ms. Shine Paharda? Parang ikinuwento ni Yusek Mercado, envelope containing cash.
All right. Your Honor, Mr. Chair, no, I must be candid about this. I must say I did, but I didn't know because I was new in the department. I thought it was a practice of the department. I thought, the very first time I encountered that matter, sir, was sometime in April of 2023. I didn't know I was summoned to the office of ASEC Shine, and then I was given an envelope, and it was later on I found out that there was money in it, but it was not because I was a BAC member or whatever yet, because I was not at that time.
At that last hearing, sabi ni Yusek Mercado, kung natatandaan ko, 9 envelopes yung natanggap niya amounting to 50,000 each. Sa inyo pong pagkakaalala, hanggang kailan kayo nakatanggap na envelope? Ilan?
It started April. I think it was until September of that year.
Up to September 2023?
Yes, sir, but if I recall it right, I was only summoned about 4 times to the office.
4 times?
Yes.
Up to September 2023?
Yes, sir.
So yung last quarter po, wala na kayo natanggap?
Wala na po.
So in other words, wala na kayong envelope na natanggap ng 4th quarter ng 2023. Tama po?
Yes, sir.
mukhang sumakto sa panahon na hindi na ginamit ng DepEd yung confidential fund for the last quarter nang pumuputok ng issue ng confidential fund. Anyway, Mr. Osias, I think this was also mentioned by the VP na press conference na magkano po pala yung laman? Magkano po laman ng envelope?
I think it was something like between 12 to 15, sir. Hindi ko na ho matandaan yung laman talaga.
12 to 15,000.
Very minimal amount, yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Osias, last week din po, after nung nandito si Yusek Mercado, meron din pong press conference si Vice President. According to the Vice President, nag-solicit daw po si Yusek Gloria from private companies using the name of the VP, which is supposedly the reason why she was let go. Kaya siya tinanggal. So, based po sa dokumento na inilabas, ito ay patungkol sa programang DepEd Guru. Are you familiar with that project?
Yes, sir. I am familiar with the DepEd Guru project because I am supposed to be the project owner of that program, sir.
Mr. Chair, can you explain to us briefly what this project is about?
Early on, when I joined the department, about maybe a few weeks after I joined the department, and as normally done by former Yusek Law, she would come up with a list of things for us to do. And I recall that there were tasks given to us. I think it was after she went on a birthday trip.
By who?
There were about I'm sorry, sir. There were about 40 tasks that has to be accomplished by our strand, the HR and OD strand, including the other components of that strand, sir. So the HR strand or the HR OD strand and NAYAP and TEX, we had about 40 tasks. Out of the 40, there were about 27 that pertains to my bureau. So for HR and OD. And I recall that one of the priorities that we were informed by Yusek Law, one of the priorities that we need to deliver as a strand is some kind of a chatbot wherein the secretary can connect directly with our teachers. Meaning that the idea was for her to be able to, for the teachers to be able to connect with her directly so that she can immediately respond to this
with the
concerns.
secretary.
Yes, sir. And there were 3 assigned to me, and the other 2 were a PDIS, we call it a PDIS, an information system on all the employees of the department. And the other one was a hiring process which will minimize the engagement of the human intervention. So the computations were all done by the system, something like that. So there were 3. So DepEd Guru was more on the aspect of that parang immediately makakausap ni VP yung mga teachers, so they can immediately raise to her the concern. Kasi the thing there, sir, is if you use the idea there is if you use the current social media processes like Messenger, etc. There are about, at that time there were about 888,000 plus teachers. So just imagine if a teacher comes up with a concern, and there were so many of them, matatabunan lang ho yung kanyang concern, and there is no possibility for example, the VP to be able to answer the concern. So there has to be some kind of a different approach to it, some kind of technological approach wherein it will ensure that the VP is able to answer all these concerns because there are really many of our teachers.
Thank you.
So the DepEd Guru, sir, is for that purpose.
According to Yusek Mercado din po at that time, nangailangan din kayo ng external partners para sa project na to. Tama po?
Yes. Actually, as far as I recall, there was an activity wherein our strands were asked, what are your projects? What are your concerns? And we were supposed to, there is an office in DepEd that is supposed to be in charge of coordinating us, the strands or whatever the concerns of the strands with an external partner, and they're the ones who actually are supposed to help us.
So merong office na in charge para sa pagpili ng external partners? Tama po?
Yes, sir.
So sinasabi niyo ba walang direktang pagpili sa mga external partner? I mean, you and Yusek Mercado, hindi kayo namili na external partners? Tama ba?
Yes, sir. I for one am not involved in the process. I just sit there when we make a presentation on what is that Guru all about. I'm
So
just part of the
Yeah, so with
people who
that,
sit
Mr.
there.
Chair, sino ang pumipili o nag-entertain ng mga external partners para sa mga ganyang partners, especially yung DepEd Guru?
There is an office. I think it's the External Partnership Services. Or
External
Partnership Service or Services.
Services.
I think that's the office, or is it the ICO? It's either of the two. Sir.
So, parang isang department sa DepEd yun?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
it is not under Yusek Mercado?
No. It's a different office.
Sa malayo. Sa pagkakaalam po ninyo, ano yung mga kailangang programa ito mula sa external partners? Why you need that external partners? Ano yung kailangan nyo sa kanila?
Well, from what I understood at that time, the need for the technological thing that the VP wanted to have, we cannot do it on our own because there is no budget for it. So we need external partners to help us make it turn it into fruition, or to make it to accomplish that program, sir. So I think that is the answer to that.
When you say external partner, kailangan nyo hindi pera ang sinulisit nyo sa external partner, or pera yun?
If I will relate it to the DepEd Guru, it was not money that we wanted to.
Hindi pera.
Yes, sir. It was like, because the DepEd Guru has components. No, it's like technology and other matters, hardware, software. So
gamit.
Gamit, sir. I think that is the word. Mga components,
So,
not really money, sir.
Mr. Chair, kung may alam po kayo, anong gamit yun kung alam nyo?
Okay, so if I recall this right now, the DepEd Guru will involve, for example, sir, some kind of yung ano ho dun sa, for example, sa truck, meron ho sa likod na parang lalagyan ho, parang malaking tapos may wheels, parang ano ba ang tawag dito, yung parang yung sa likod doon ng truck, di ba, for example, mga trucks na mga refrigerated trucks, di ba yung likod do parang may mga closed na portions sa may gulong. For example, yan no is one, kasi the design is nandun sa loob nun yung mga gadgets na ilalagay, because the intention was to have 3 of these kinds of equipment in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So i-deploy siya para kung merong conflagration, kung merong nangyaring masama, hindi ho, una makakausap pa rin ni VP yung mga students or concerns or whatever, and then independently powered ho siya, component ho siya talaga ng buo. So meron siyang laptops, meron siyang solar panel, marami ho siyang components, sir, para ma-ensure lang na kahit walang kuryente dun sa lugar, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang magiging communication ng VP. Ganun ang pagkaintindi ko doon sa...
So, Mr. Chair, with that yung equipment na yun, kanino po mapupunta yun or saan napunta yun?
Hindi ho natuloy yung project, sir.
So, hindi natuloy?
Hindi natuloy.
So, walang nakuha na personal na pera o gamit, equipment si Yusek Mercado sa paghanap niya ng external partner para sa DepEd Guru program? Negative?
I can only speak up to the extent that I interact with USEC law, like for example in the office. If that is the basis of that, the premise, Your Honor, I don't think there was any. Kasi hindi naman ho natuloy yung project.
Sige. Sa pagkakaalam niyo po, Mr. Chair, palagay niyo ba importante itong project na to na magkaroon ng direktang komunikasyon? Yung halos 900,000, almost 1 million na teacher at CBT sa ilalim ng Guru program?
I can only speak, sir, from experience, no. I am a survivor of the Yolanda tragedy. It almost killed me and my family. As far as I'm concerned, there is really a need to have things like this during a conflagration, especially for purposes of our kids continuing with their education despite everything that happens. So to my mind, it is something that we really need to have. But of course, the program did not push through, so it's not something I...
So, in short, ito yung naging priority project ni VP Duterte sana.
Sir, that was the information I got or we got from the USEC kasi siya naman ho ang nakakausap sa Exicom, hindi naman ho ako involved. Kung ano lang ho yung binababa sa amin, yun lang ho yung aming extent ng knowledge kung ano ang mga kailangan ho talaga.
Ano bang difference ng priority project kumpara do sa regular project nyo sa DepEd?
The way I understood it, sir, is that ang priority projects, these are immediate ang need. No? While the other projects, these are projects, many of the other projects have been there for the longest time pero hindi ho gumagalaw. That's why, as I was saying earlier, there were about 40 that the Strand, HROD, and NAIAP and TEX had to do. No? These were the 40 identified projects that we need to do. But out of the 40, 27 are for the BHROD, and out of the 27, there were about 3 that were priority projects of the VP, including yung chatbot nga ho, or itong naging guro ang aming pinag-usapan.
Thank you po. So in short, talagang alam niya to at priority project to ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Tama po ba?
Well, I am not quite sure if the VP directly know about the project, but we present this project every time there is a Strand or Exicom meetings, or I think that is when it is presented. But Exicom hindi na ho kasi ako kasali doon. So,
she is aware. So in short, Mr. Chairman, ang DepEd Guru program sa katotohanan ng isang legitimate project ng DepEd na isang priority project rin ni VP Duterte, kung saan ang mga external partners ay hindi pinili ni Yusek Mercado kundi ng ibang opisina sa ilalim ng DepEd. Dagdag pa rito, walang pondo o kagamitan na personal na makukuha si Yusek Mercado sa programang ito. Nakakabahala lang, Mr. Chair, na isang directive ng pinuno ay siya ring gagawing rason na paikot-ikutin upang sapilitang magtanggal ng isang career government official tulad ni Yusek Gloria Mercado. And that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Abante, you are recognized.
Attorney Osias admitted that he has received envelopes. I'm not saying it's wrong, no? Can be an appreciation thing or a love gift, whatever it might be. I don't think it's wrong. Pero if that is actually the habit of the secretary to give envelopes to his to her people, I wonder if only Yusek Mercado or you receive envelope. Perhaps Yusek Mempin should also say something about that, or anybody here among the DepEd family. Because as I've said, no, when you receive an envelope, there was no thinking that there's anything wrong with that. Wala kaming inaiisip na masama yan. Just, you're under oath, and just tell us about it, and thank you for telling us that. Yes.
Sir, again, I must say that when I was called and received an envelope, I initially thought that it is how it is in DepEd because I did not come from DepEd. So, to be honest, I was grateful because it helps a lot. No, we are from I am from the province, so parang nakakatulong.
Where were you before, Attorney Osias? Before you went to DepEd, where were you before?
I spent more or less 25 years in another agency, sir.
In the private?
No, government also.
Government then?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I just came across the DepEd, yung posting.
So you were thinking that, receiving an envelope is just something that That happens in DepEd once in a while, and you're grateful. I really appreciate that. No, as I've said, we're not thinking of anything wrong in receiving those envelopes. We're just wondering, how many of a DepEd family receive envelopes too? We're just wondering. If Atty. Osias was able to say and tell us the truth about that, and perhaps Yusek Mercado, Yusek Mempin, can you say something about that?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. For me, sir, I have not received any envelope coming from ASEC Sunshine.
Oh, you have not received any envelope?
Yes,
So,
Your Honor, for me, sir.
Ibig sabihin, only some special people receive envelopes like that. And you're not too special, man. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not aware of it, sir.
Can you say something about that? You're the spokesperson.
Yes, sir. When I was Hope, sir, I became Hope. No, I can categorically say I was not able to receive a single envelope at all. But I do remember sometime December 2022 or early December, I did receive an envelope, just minimal amount. And at times, pag nagsasabi, may mga times kasi, sir, na candidly, medyo napagalitan ako because nag-aabono daw ako. Because when people come to me as a spokesperson, sometimes they tell problems, I would give, at the end of the day, ang kailangan lang pala nila, 3,000, 5,000. So nagbibigay ako personally. So there were instances, occasional, although not regularly, not like monthly at all, that I would receive, but not from ASEC Shine. I would, when I would tell the VP, like nung Christmas, the VP gave it to me herself.
Well, there are times.
But yes, I did receive occasionally.
There are times, when you appreciate stuff.
Yes,
Ako rin, ganun eh.
Oo.
When I appreciate my stuff, I would sometimes give envelopes.
Yes, sir.
too.
But occasionally, yes.
Kahit na maliit ang amount. The thing is this, Attorney Monsayak, you promised that you're going to submit I think a rebuttal to...
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, I only learned today that I was being directed to submit the documents, and I will comply, Your Honor. Before the next hearing date, I will submit the documents requested of me, Your Honor.
Before
the next hearing date, Your Honor, I'm just gonna compile it and submit it to the committee, Your Honor.
Okay, well, how many days will it take?
Maybe 3, Your Honor. Maybe 3.
3 days, okay. We will expect that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Committee. Mr. Chair, can I just make a manifestation?
Yes, please continue, Congressman Abante.
I have a very high regard on the armed forces. Very high. You are professional soldiers. Yusek Mempin, correct? Major General Bajau, Colonel Baransing, all of you. Very high regard ako sa armed forces of the Philippines. Okay? Like my good friend here, Congressman Ako, who used to be a general. Masyadong respect ko sa inyo. I hope that you're going to remain above politics. Because, listen, your only accountability is to the Commander-in-Chief. No one else. Not the mayor, not anyone else, but the Commander-in-Chief. And that's the President of the Republic. Of course, that includes the Secretary of the Public National Defense. So please, I'm asking you, sana ma-maintain ninyo yung high regard ko at high regard ng maraming tao sa inyo. Please be above politics. Yun lang po, manifestation ko.
Yes, Senior Deputy Speaker, Don Gonzales.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Meron lang akong gusto i-clarify. Yung Youth Leadership Summit, that's under DepEd po? That's under college students, di ba pa?
Hindi po siya under DepEd as far as I know,
Yeah.
sir.
Bakit narinig ko na YLS, the Youth Leadership Summit, palaging may gastos? And that's under the our college students, di ba?
Apo. Hindi ako yung makasagot.
Attorney, sino po ang sasagot?
Kasi kanina pa natin
maybe
pinag-uusapan.
Major General
Bahaw, sir.
Bahaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Well, kadalasan po, Your Honor, ang mga partisipante nito ay mga youth, high school students, and college students po. Kasama na rin po ang mga out-of-school youths and even yung mga IP youths natin. In the case of Mindanao, kasama dito yung mga Muslim youth po. Your Honor.
So meaning halo-halo po sila, not only college students.
Yes, Your Honor. Across all sectors, lalo na yung mga kabataan po, Your Honor, na walang access po talaga sa education, ito po yung mga inuuna natin sa ganitong klaseng mga summits.
Salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We will now proceed to our last interpellator, the Honorable Franz Castro. You are recognized.
Maaga pa, Mr. Chair. Hindi ako sanay na maaga pa tayo. Uuwi.
Mr. Chair, huwag mo namang gawing quadcom to, please.
Unless, of course, may mga gusto pang mga follow-up questions.
Okay, so seryoso kasi. Pero seryoso po ako, Mr. Chair. So napansin ko lang, Mr. Chair, doon sa paggamit ng confidential funds in three quarters, parang pare-parehas ang amount, 37,000 at 37.5 million. No? So talagang hinati, no? Inatado ng ano. In the first quarter, yung 37.5 ginamit ng 39 days. On the second quarter, 69 days. On the third quarter, 68 days. So dahil pareho yon, ano po ba yung kaibahan? Ito yung DepEd. Ay, by the way, Mr. Chair, pinatawag na po ba natin itong Edward Fajarda? Nag-motion na po ba tayo para ipatawag?
Meron po tayong inisyu kanina na subpoena at testificandum.
Okay. Kasi siya yung naglabas ng pera at by the way, sino po yung nag-prepare ng accomplishment report sa DepEd, Mr. Chair?
Attorney Powa.
Mr. Chair, I would assume it would also be the SDO at that point. Hindi po...
SDO Fajardo?
Opo, kung sino po yung nakapirma. Hindi po ako familiar kasi dun sa accomplishment report, but I think it's prepared by the SDO as per the rules.
Okay, so siya yung naglabas ng pera, siya rin yung nag-report nito?
I think yun po yung requirement, Your Honor. I don't have a copy, but I can look for a copy of the accomplishment report.
Hindi, yun nga. Yung accomplishment report, eto na lang, kung walang copy ang DepEd. So, ang tanong ko lang po, eto ba, tatanungin ko ba kay Fajarda, bakit 39 days with the same amount? Yung other quarter, 37 million din, 37.5 in 69 and 68 days? Can you answer
Mr.
that?
Chair,
Please,
Mr. Chair,
continue.
Your
Attorney
Honor,
Powa.
hindi ko po, and Representative Franz knows this, no? I'm very straightforward with you all the time, pero hindi ko po talaga alam yung sagot dyan sa pag-operationalize ng confidential funds. So, unfortunately, hindi ko talaga kayo masasagot, ma'am.
So, sinasabi ba, Mr. Chair, ni Attorney Powa na it is Edward Fajarda and the Vice President Sara Duterte yung bumuo nitong accomplishment report?
I have no personal knowledge kung sino po mismo yung nagbuo, but I'm only saying that because of the signatures found in the accomplishment report, Your Honor.
Okay, napakahalaga, Mr. Chair, na mapatawag talaga si si Vice President Sara Duterte together with Fajarda. Kasi katulad nung observation natin sa 125 million na OVP na misuse, parang may nakakitaan talaga natin dito, no, ng problema ng misuse. Like katulad niyan, 37.5 million. So ano ba yung kaibahan ng mga activities nitong mga to? Kasi kung titignan natin, Mr. Chair, isa lang po, isang set lang po yung activities, no? Yung tinatawag nilang program project activities, counter-insurgency programs, abuse prevention and control within schools, anti-illegal activities operations, anti-extremism, terrorism programs. So dito, makikita natin yung mga accomplishment. So sa first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, Mr. Chair, pare-parehas ang sinasabi, no? Prevention of recruitment by NPA and other communist leftist group towards teachers and students. 100% daw implementation ng mga activities. So, ang tanong ko lang, Mr. Chair, sino ang niloloko nito? Di ba? Itong mga ganitong mga report. No, kung i-analyze natin itong mga ganitong report na parang i-accept na lang natin, ang COA, i-accept na lang natin through hook and sinker, itong isa na submit ni Sara Duterte at saka nitong si Fajarda, kung sila man talaga yung gumagawa nito, sino lolokohin natin dito sa sinasabi nila, no, na wala na daw, na prevent na raw yung recruitment. Number 2, ito pong counterinsurgency programs na ito, Mr. Chair. Itong abuse prevention and control within schools, anti-illegal activities, anti-extremism. Ito po ba yung talagang pinaka-problema ng mga eskwelahan natin? Para kay Yusek Powa, alam ko ikaw, nung DepEd Secretary ka, we talk, no?
Undersecretary.
Ay, Undersecretary. Ko na agad ang pinromote. Di ba nagtutok tayo ng mga problema sa schools? Di ba? So, tingin mo ba itong apat na to, ito yung talagang problema natin sa eskwelahan na kailangang gamitan ng confidential funds para maituloy yung programa natin sa eskwelahan?
Well, Mr. Chair, if I may respond.
Yes, please continue.
Well, sa totoo lang po, honestly, isa siya sa mga problema pero hindi lang po siya yung problema. Napakarami po talaga nating problema, especially nung time ko sa DepEd, and I've discussed it with Congresswoman Castro several times. So I cannot naman po say it's not one of the problems because may mga reports nga na umabot sa atin na may ganyang problema. But I would say na it's one of the many problems in basic education.
Yes, mas mahalaga yung problema like yung grooming, ito yung binanggit ni Sara Duterte nung tinanong ko, saan mo gagamitin yung confidential fund, Mr. Chair? So tinanong ko sa noong 2022. So sabi for grooming daw, etc. Pero nakita naman natin problema ngayon, di ba? Mga bullying, no? At iba pa na related, pero mukhang hindi ito yung nakikita nating pinaka-problema, no, sa mga eskwelahan natin. Kung titignan natin ito, Mr. Chair, parang ginawa lang ito para ma-justify lang yung confidential funds na 150. Nakita naman natin, Mr. Chair, doon sa palitan kanina ng interpellation ng mga nauna. So itong mga ginagawa na ito na certification, Mr. Chair, hindi ito project ng DepEd. No? Hindi ito ginawa at hindi ito pinondohan ng DepEd. Hindi nga alam ni Attorney Powa etong mga activities na to, hindi nyo naintindihan. Pero nakita natin, Mr. Chair, sinubmit. Ano ba to? Pinractice ba natin dito na yung parang sinasabi natin na hindi natin iniintindi? So, ito ba, Mr. Powa, Attorney Powa, sinubmit nyo na lang ng walang pagkaintindi? Hindi ba kayo nagtanong kay former Yusek Memphis, ano itong mga ito?
Please answer,
Mr.
Attorney
Chair,
Powa.
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, ma'am, hindi naman po sa hindi inintindi. Humingi po ako ng reports na evidencing success para as required by COA. Nung nakita ko po yung report, ang pagkakaintindi ko po is hinold yung mga seminars due to coordination and information received from DepEd. So I took the
Pero,
certification
Mr. Chair,
as is.
patuloy na kita dyan, Attorney.
Opo.
Malinaw naman kanina doon sa interpellation na wala itong relasyon dito sa activity ng DepEd. Ni wala ngang MOA, Mr. Chair. Di ba? So hindi mo pwedeng gawin ito na justification para bang Mr. Chair, sa eskwelahan, hindi ka makapag-liquidate. Ngayon kulang ka ng ilang thousands. So ang gagawin mo ba, maghahanap ka ng resibo sa kung saan na pwede mo ipamasak doon sa liquidation ng confidential funds. So parang ito kasi, yung certification na ito, Mr. Chair, this justifies yung sa hinahanap ng COA na kulang na 15 million. Pero syempre may question nga ako, no? Paano ba ina-analyze ng COA itong mga ginagastos na ito sa confidential funds? Parang tanggap na lang ito. So okay na po yung kay Attorney Powa, no? Narinig ko na yung justification kanina. So sabi natin na kanina, Mr. Chair, na sige, hindi naintindihan niyo naman po ito na isinubmit sa inyo at isinubmit nyo sa COA. Pero hindi pa kayo nag-scrutinize, hindi pa kayo nagtanong. Para saan ito? Bakit ganito yung sinubmit ni Yusek Powa sa inyo? Yusek Mempin sa inyo po, Attorney Powa.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please answer.
To be perfectly candid, Mr. Chair and Your Honor, ang dami ko pong trabaho nun sa DepEd. One of them was to comply with AOM. I'm not using that as an excuse. One of them was to comply with AOM. So kung ano pong documentation na available at that time na nasa OSEC or binigay sa amin, binigay sa OSEC, Yun na lang po talaga yung sinubmit ko sa COA. Of course, I read the documents, Your Honor. If I respect the opinion of the good Congresswoman, I maintain the fact na yun po yung impression ko na because there was already coordination and information from DepEd that I wasn't even sure if it would suffice, but at least that was a documentation that was provided to us, and so I had to submit it in compliance with COA po, Your Honor.
So sa tingin ko, Mr. Chair, hindi ito suffice to justify yung paggamit ng confidential funds. Narinig naman natin na walang relasyon ito dun sa confidential funds. So saan napunta? Ang tanong dito, saan ginamit? Saan napunta? At kanino napunta? Etong tinatanong natin na 15 million na confidential funds na hindi na hindi nakita po ng COA. Mr. Chair, sino pwedeng sumagot nun?
Mr. Chair,
Please answer, Attorney
Chair,
Poa.
with all honesty, under oath, hindi ko po masasagot kung
Okay.
dahil wala po akong personal knowledge dyan.
Ang kanina kasi may nag-withdraw ng pera sa land bank. Tama ba, Mr. Chair? Doon sa mga interpellation kanina. At sino ba sa ating colleague na nagsabi na kung paano nabuhat itong 37 million?
Ako, Mr. Chair.
Mula, si SDS. So, itong 37.5 million na ito, ibig sabihin, cold cash ito na ang nag-disburse lang. It's either si Fajarda o si Vice President Duterte. Sila lang talaga yung nakakaalam, Mr. Chair. So, sinasabi natin dito na talagang talagang significant yung presence ni Vice President dito. Well, sa COA, ngayong alam niyo na po. By the way, saan pong justification? Saang PPA po siya? Sa counterinsurgency? Tama po ba sa COA? Saang justification itong certification na to? So is this certification for the whole 3 quarters? Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Si Attorney,
COA.
you recognize Attorney Camora.
Madam Chair, for yung certification na po yun is for yung mga rewards nung buong quarter na po yun.
Anong quarter po ito? Itong certification na to. 3 quarter Nagpasa sila ng
First and second quarter po yata.
Are you sure?
Yung certification. Kung yung certification po, Mr. Chair, I think it's for the whole year. Although yung sinusupport po niya na liquidation is for the first and second quarter.
Yes. For what PPA? Is it in the counterinsurgency programs?
Hindi po na namin tinignan kung anong...
Have you read the certification? Ano yung sinasabi sa certification? Ito, sinasabi sa certification. Halimbawa na lang, itong Mr. Chair, basahin natin. Yung kay Boransing, kay Colonel Boransing. Kung titignan natin yung certification, may 8 activities sa YLS, 531 participants, 9,428. This was carried out from January 1 to December 1, which resulted to 0 reported CTG recruitment. In addition, this command has implemented hindi ko po alam yan kung ano yan, Complan Tinabangay. So, ang ibig sabihin po, ito ay para dito sa PPA number 1. Kasi for CTG daw to yung mga recruitment ng NPA. Ito kung titignan natin, Mr. Chair, yung certification po ni Lieutenant Colonel Panopio, ganun din yon for the elimination ng mga NPA tsaka recruitment, no? Okay, next. At yun din po yung sa yung sa iba pa na ito information education campaign. So tingin ko para doon sa sa YSL o YLS. So ito para dito sa number 1 PPA po. So yung abuse prevention and control within the school, asan po yung outcome and accomplishment report? Kung ito for 1 year ng PPA 1, asan po yung accomplishment report ng Number 2, PPA, kasi nakalagay dito, reduce abuses against learners. So meron ba tayo, Mr. Chair, na base data kung ilan po yung abuses within the year? Kaya nasabi ni BP at nasabi ni Fajarda na reduce na daw po yung abuses against learner. Asan po yung accomplishment report nito? Kasi hindi natin pwedeng tanggapin lang ito na ganito lang. Mr. Chair, where is it?
Mr. Chair, ito lang po yung na-receive namin. So, at that time po, na-deem sufficient na sa payment of rewards po.
Ito, sufficient na? Sufficient na po ito dito sa 4 na PPA, Mr. Chair? I cannot accept that. Kasi nakalagay dito, reduce abuses against learners. Ano ba yung baseline? Paano na-reduce? Ilan yung number? Payment of reward, 2 million. 2.95 million. Purchase of supply, 2.69 million. Payment of incentives and traveling, etc. Makikita nyo dyan Mr. Chair. Purchase of information, 2.2 million. May 10 million dito, reduce abuse against learners. So, paano natin masusukat yun? Mr. Chair, ako po mathematics teacher ako. Gumagamit kami ng rubrics. At kami, yung mga teacher, sinusukat sa kung ano yung nagagawa nila. Pero kung ganito, alam niyo po, hindi to papasa as teacher. Kung ganito po, hindi po ito papasa or hindi ito magkakaroon ng, ng record ng VS or S. Baka NI pa to. Kasi wala itong, wala itong justification. So sinasabi ba ng COA, ito na for the whole year, Mr. Chair, yung para sa justification ng 150 million.
Mr. Chair, dun lang po sa rewards, yung 15. Yung sa payment of rewards lang po yun. Hindi po...
Hindi, kaya nga gusto ko makita yung accomplishments. Gusto natin makita yung actual outcome. Ano yung actual outcome? Tinanggap ko na nga yung number 1 O di sige, ito meron ito. Kahit na hindi ito katanggap-tanggap, Mr. Chair, kung bubusisiin ko pa yan. So, asan po yung pag-reduce? Next, eliminate illegal activities within schools. Okay, eliminate illegal activities. Ano ba yung mga illegal activities within the school? Ano yung baseline data? Ano yung mga na-eliminate? Ano-ano tong mga illegal na ginagawa sa loob ng eskwelahan? Meron po ba accomplishment? Conducted surveillance in 119 areas. 100% implementation of activities. So what's this? Walang meaning ito, Mr. Chair, sa atin. Kung titignan natin, kung talagang bubusisiin talaga natin itong confidential funds. So kung ganito yung sinubmit, tinanggap nyo lang yan, tapos sasabihin nyo, ang kulang lang ay yung pagkapaliwanag ng rewards. Kung ako yung auditor, Mr. Chair, hindi ko tatanggapin yon. Ano-ano yung mga sinasabing outcome nito. And next, anti-extremism, terrorism programs, gather information necessary implementation of general peace and order within the department. Ano po yung outcome nito? Ano po yung patunay nito, Mr. Chair?
Yung certification din, Mr. Chair. Like yung iba po may kasamang terrorism, physical harm, criminalities, and drug abuse. It's the same po, yung certification din po.
So meron kayo ng certification?
This the same po na yung sinubmit po ng...
Well, Mr. Chair, hindi po katanggap-tanggap ito na pinayagan ng auditor natin. Etong sinabi ko na, hindi masusukat, sa kahit na tapos gagastos tayo ng 150 million na confidential funds, minus 37 million. So, hindi po katanggap-tanggap to. Ngayon, Mr. Chair, na alam mo na, ngayon alam na ng COA, na ito ay para sa justification ng 1 to 4 na PPA. Bagamat din natin tinatanggap, Mr. Chair. At sinasabi ng Philippine Army na hindi daw ito related sa DepEd activities nito. So anong ibig sabihin niyan, Mr. Chair?
Ito po ay support po ng success ng information
Well,
gathering.
naiintindihan niyo po ba ako, Attorney Gloria? Hindi nga ito yung support Kasi sinasabi nila, different ito na activities na separate na ginagawa ng AFP.
Opo, pero
So bakit gagamitin mo ito dito sa liquidation at bakit tatanggapin ng COA na ito yung pang-justify doon sa million na confidential funds ni Sara Duterte as DepEd Secretary?
yun po, yung sa to prove yung success nung program.
No, this is not the success. Success siguro ng
Hindi po, success nung information gathering related to the program po of DepEd and collaboration po yata kasi ito.
Hindi ko yun matatanggap, Mr. Chair. Talagang, mayroon talaga tayong gagawing batas para mapahigpit talaga natin and even yung pag-audit ng mga confidential funds, Mr. Chair. Hindi nyo pwedeng mag-submit, kahit na teacher ka, mag-submit ng ganyan yung bata. Siyempre, babasahin mo, scrutinize mo, i-gradean mo. Pero ito, Mr. Chair. So, yun lang, Mr. Chair, ang ano ko dyan, dahil nalaman na ng COA na hindi ito yung mag-justify noong confidential funds ng DepEd in 2023, Mr. Chair, dapat ibalik yung buong ibalik yung buong confidential funds dahil hindi yan makakapag-justify nito kahit nasabihin pa natin sa COA yan. Hindi ko matatanggap, Mr. Chair, na ito yon, na pwedeng itong pan-justify dito sa sinasabing PPA. So, yun lang, Mr. Chair, kung ito yung magko-cover ng lahat na accomplishment nitong 150 million na confidential fund minus 37.5 million, ay hindi ko pa matatanggap, Mr. Chair. So, yun lang, Mr. Chair, at meron tayong dapat na gawin kaugnay dyan.
Okay, thank you. Before we wrap up this hearing, the Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Congressman Romy Acop.
Points lang, Mr. Chair, na hindi na take up. But for the information of the Honorable Castro, tinanong ko na rin yan kanina pero ang sabi nila, yun po ay ganun talaga ang requirement lang nila in order to liquidate yung confidential fund. But Yusek po, you mentioned something about the AOM. That's why you got certifications from the Philippine Army units. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Now, may I ask ko, what was the AOM all about? Ano po yung AOM na sinasabi ni Yusek Pua na basis niya para humingi ng certification sa Philippine Army units?
Attorney Camora.
Mr. Chair, yung first na AOM po na-issue sa DepEd, which is AOM number 2024-015 po.
What is it all about?
Nandito po yung mga observations namin yung for the yung first time po nila.
Ano po yung in general, yung gist ng observation po ninyo?
Yung first one, hindi po sila nag-submit ng documentary evidence of payment. Yung second one, meron po kaming, kasi hindi po, yung sa accomplishment reports nila, hindi pa po yung confidential activities or confidential expenses ang nilagay nila. Yung third one is yung sa kulang po yung supporting nila sa payment of rewards. Yung sa number 4 po, dun sa physical and financial plan po nila, hindi naka-indicate yung mga particular confidential activities. And then, sa item 5 po, hindi po properly accomplish yung DB. Ganun din po yung sa observation number 6 po.
Saan pong observation, saan pong AO, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, nakalagay yung requirement ng certification ng Philippine Army units? For you to be able to give a credit notice,
it pertains po to number 3, yung payment of rewards to informers. It must be supported with documents evidencing the success of the information gathering and or surveillance activities. Yun po yung
matanong ko po kayo, sa certification pertaining to YLS, nasaan po yung information gathering at saka ano pa yung activities na nakalagay doon?
Sa certification itself, wala naman po. Ang na-pick up lang po namin is yung success nung activity nung sa YLS po.
So, even if it is not a YLS activity, pwede nyo tanggapin yung certification. Basta
long
naging
as
successful. Ganun po ba?
Successful po siya sa,
Basta naging successful.
yung information gathering or surveillance activities po.
Paano nagkakaroon po ng information gathering doon po sa activity ng YLS?
Kung programs po yun ng DepEd, tapos kailangan po nilang yun po, mag-gather ng information on...
Kaya nga, programa ng ng DepEd yun.
Opo.
Paano natin i-connect yung programa na yun doon sa YLS activities na Philippine Army?
Yun nga po, based sa certification nila, there was a collaborative effort between DepEd and yun po, yung nag-issue po ng certification.
There was a collaborative effort
Yeah po.
ng DepEd at saka Kwan.
Yes, Mr.
So that is enough to justify na bigyan nyo sila ng green notice, ay credit notice at mawala na yung observations niyo sa AOM. Yun po ba yung sinasabi niyo po sa amin?
Yes, Mr. Chair po.
So, Honorable Castro, I will go with you in so far as your observation is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Benny Abante.
Just a few questions before we wrap up. No?
Yes, please continue.
Ako naman talaga taga-wrap up kaya sa kwet ko. Anyway, sa atin pong military, no? For example, Major General Bajau. Alright. Ano ba? Sa elementary and high school natin, matindi ba ang problema sa insurgency?
Major General Bahaw, Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
Major General Bahaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Honor, ang problema ng insurhensiya po ay nandyan pa. Although sa buong Pilipinas po, and I can only speak for Bicol region na nire-represent ko bilang dating commander, ay pababa na po to.
Okay, na generally speaking, Major Bajau, alam ko Bicol lang, no? Are you a Bicolano?
No, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Sa Bicol ko lang. Pero I think that even Yusik Mempin could be able to say this. Matindi ba ang problema sa insurgency sa high school and elementary o hindi na? Sapagkat hindi na.
Pababa na po siya.
Pababa na.
Yes, Your Honor.
Gano'n po, for example, ilang percent, gano'n po ba? Gano'n po ba?
I can only speak for the 9th Infantry Division, Your Honor. Meron kaming dating 8 guerrilla fronts. Ngayon, mag-isa na lang po ang naiwan na weekend guerrilla front. So, ganun kababa na po.
Meron pa ba tayong mga NPA na mga sundalo na mga minor de edad? Marami pa ba?
Sa pagkangayon po, Your Honor, wala po kaming na sasagupa sa aking kapanahunan po.
Wala na. So ibig sabihin, mas mataas ang ang issue ng insurgency sa college. Sa college, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr.
Therefore, hindi DepEd, dapat CHED. Tama ako mali?
Your Honor, we categorize the youth po na 15 to 30 years old po. Kasama dito yung mga ibang high school students po.
Ganito na lang yon. If DepEd would have a subject lang yung mga DepEd family, please listen to me. I say this. Kung meron kayong subject sa high school for example, on anti-insurgency campaign, on the evils of communism and atheism, mas maganda, di ba? Tama ako, Mr. Monsayak.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hindi na kailangan pa yung youth summit na binabanggit ninyo na ginagastusan ng confidential fund ng DepEd. Oo. Ngayon, sa college pwede. Sapagkat meron tayong UP, meron tayong PUP. Oo. O meron tayong pamantasan sa Luzon, Maynila na yan, pwede ba maging breeding place ng insurgency yan eh. Di ba? So therefore, it must be CHED. It must be CHED that should connect with the DND as far as the anti-insurgency campaign should be done. Am I right? Major Bajao.
You're right, Your Honor.
Okay, Yusek Mimpin. Am I right?
Yes, Your Honor.
O, ganun na lang gawin natin, DepEd. Magkaroon lang tayo ng subject o anti-insurgency sa ating high school, communism and atheism, no? And let us just, siguro kinakailangan na rin natin na atin nang i-promote yung talagang for the love of God and country sa DepEd, no? Ganun din sa CHED. Siguro yan ang kinakailangan gawin natin ngayon. O ito naman, sa COA naman, no? Itong inyong joint circular is a joint circular that have been written na ang kasama dito, DBM, DALG, DND, Governance Commission for GOCC, and Commission on Audit. Am I right?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Yun. Walang DepEd dito eh.
Tama po.
Walang DepEd. So, ibig sabihin, kayong mga sa audit, Commission on Audit, should realize na wala ang DepEd dito. Hindi kasama. Ibig sabihin, hindi dapat magkaroon ng confidential fund ang DepEd in the first place. Hindi dapat magkaroon. And that should have been made improper. Oo. Di ba? O, nakalagay dito, the utilization of such funds is generally confidential and classified by nature, which requires not only strong internal controls in the release and utilization thereof, but also strict accounting and auditing rules to prevent mishandling or improper application of the funds, of which COA has neglected. Attorney.
Mr. Chair.
What is your comment on that?
Attorney Camora.
Mr. Chair, actually po we are...
Binasa ko lang ha, yung nakalagay dito.
Opo, we are currently in talks with the same agencies po na i-amend na po ang joint circular.
Oo.
So, ongoing na po yung talks about the amendment. And I think subject na rin po ito yata. Kasama siya sa court case, so hindi po...
O, kayong mga nasa COA, Director, therefore, kung naniniwala tayo dito sa nakalagay sa circular na ito, then COA should strictly account and audit yan nakalagay. To prevent mishandling or improper application of the funds. We are now requesting in this committee, Mr. Chair, na gawin nyo na ito. Attorney, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Gawin nyo na ito.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Di ba? Please, gawin nyo na yung nakalagay dito.
Yes,
para maulit natin to, malaman po ng taong bayan to. Ito nakalagay sa Joint Circular number 2015-01, January 8, 2015 to nailabas. Ito ang nakalagay. The utilization of such funds is generally confidential and classified by nature, which requires not only strong internal controls, una yan in the release and utilization thereof. Number 2, but also strict accounting and auditing rules to prevent mishandling or improper application of the funds. And this is the work of COA. Am I right?
Yes po, Mr.
So,
Chair.
Mr. Chair, we are requesting that COA should now do what they should do to implement this joint circular right now, because you have always been telling us that you're always mentioning the joint circular, and because of that nakakalusot yung mga tinatawag nating rentals na yan. Nakakalusot. Walang attachment, walang particulars, hindi malaman kung paano ginamit yan. Bakit yung 78 days na yan, 5 million lamang, pero bakit yung 11 days, 16 million? My goodness, kahit sinong kausapin nyo, kahit hindi marunong na mathematics, sabihin nila, aba, ang taas naman ito. Di ba? Kahit hindi marunong magbasa at magsulat niyan. Pag nakita yung mga figures na yan, ba't ganun? Bakit ganun? Listen, COA, at lahat tayo rito, no, ha? Tandaan po natin na ang taong bayan pa rin ang makapangyarihan dito. And the thing is this, no? We still would like to say this, that we are not a government of men, we are a government of laws. And therefore, every law must be implemented properly. And I would like to please suggest to COA, tingnan nyo na maigi ito, and please implement the ruling in the joint circular. Nakita ko at nabasa ko you're using it, therefore, gawin nyo ang dapat mangyari dyan sapagkat strict accounting and auditing.
Yes,
Tama ho ba ako?
Yes po, Mr.
Gawin
Chair.
natin. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Yun lamang.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senior Deputy Speaker, Don
Chairman,
Gonzales.
based on this joint circular, can I have my manifestations? The joint circular needs improvement in terms of evidence of payment and to allow COA to check safe houses, other agreements to ensure validity of the payments. And the joint circular is already 9 years old. Tama mo ba? 9 years old na?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, it needs to update at this point in time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Before I recognize Congressman Flores, may tanong lang po ako. Since hindi po kasama dito sa joint circular ang DepEd at ang OBP, does it follow na hindi sila covered na itong joint circular?
Hindi naman po, Mr. Chair. Ang covered po ng kung sino ang may confidential funds ay yung binigyan po ng Kongreso po natin.
Okay.
Ito lang po yung mga nag-craft ng
Joint circular.
may kanya-kanyang role po kasi like si DBM po, sila po yung sa grant. Tapos yung utilization, I think it's more on the ND and DILG since sila po yung involved talaga. And yung audit part po is yung part ng COA.
Okay. The Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Jonathan Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm just asking about the spouses Fajarda because they've been mentioned several times during the interpellation of other members. And I was informed by the COMSEC that there was a letter executed by Sunshine Fajarda declining the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chair, on the ground that her position has nothing relevant to contribute to the current investigation. But I think, Mr. Chair, that should be for us to decide whether or not it should be relevant or not. Now, so with that letter declining our invitation, Mr. Chair, I move that we issue a show cause order, Mr. Chair, to determine subpoena Adesipagando, Mr. Chair, to compel the presence of Sunshine Fajarda, Mr. Chair.
Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded.
Second.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. May we request the COMSEC to issue a subpoena ad testificandum to Sunshine Fajarda as well as lookout inclusion in the lookout bulletin order request. Tapos na kanina eh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Jervil Luistro is recognized.
Mr. Chair, it was clearly established that the certification issued by the AFP was used by DepEd to justify the payment of reward to informers. I just want to have this last question for the AFP. When you issued the certification, were you aware that this will be used to justify the 15 million payment of rewards by the DepEd? Can we hear from Major General Bahaw?
May I be recognized, Mr. Chair? Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
Major General Bahjaw.
Of all the letters or certifications issued to DepEd for use.
The question, General, is whether you were aware that the certification will be used to justify the 15 million reward to informers?
We are
by the
not,
DepEd?
ma'am.
You are not aware?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we hear from Colonel Panopio?
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, we are not
Colonel
aware.
Panopio, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chairman.
Were you aware?
We are not aware, Your Honor.
You were not aware? Colonel Boransing,
Colonel Buransing, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were not aware, Mr. Chair.
Colonel Sandangan,
Colonel Sandangan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were not aware, ma'am.
in other words, Mr. Chair, without the knowledge of the AFP, the certification was issued to DepEd to be able to justify the 15 million that was used allegedly for the payment of reward. To this point, Mr. Chair, we're not even sure whether that money was indeed paid as reward to the informers. Mr. Chair, to call the attention of the COA, I just want to share this very enlightening jurisprudence, Jover versus Field Investigation Office. By turning a blind eye to the irregularities in the allocation and disbursement of public funds, petitioner condoned a practice that deprived many of her countrymen of funds which could have been used for projects to help improve their livelihood. It is not enough that we have submitted ourselves to the loose and relaxed requirement of the Joint Circular 2015-01. While we tolerate all these irregularities, we are causing deprivation of the basic needs of the so many Filipino citizens. I hope that COA realize that. And to close, Mr. Chair, I just want to stand corrected. What I shared earlier is not from Star Wars. It's from Spider-Man. Comes with a great power, is great responsibility. And when we have this public trust, it carries with it public accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
Chair.
Congressman Benny Abante, Vice Chairman.
just would like to air a warning to the one that wrote a letter, no? I think it's the wife of Edward Fajarda, no? Questioning the jurisdiction of this committee, no? If she will not attend the next hearing, I will have a motion to cite her in contempt. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Flores.
Just follow up to what Congressman
Please
Jinky.
continue.
No, not Spider-Man
Star
or Star
Wars?
Wars, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. Ang question ko lang po is with Colonel Boransing. Sir, if you were made aware that the certification that you were asked to issue was going to be used to justify the expenses of DepEd, would you have agreed to issue such certification?
Colonel Balanting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, since we were not informed, I was not informed, it's very hard to speculate on what my what I might have done if since it didn't happen.
Okay, I'll rephrase my question. Kung alam mo na hiningan ka ng certification to justify an expense which never passed your office, which you never used, hypothetically, no? By any office, not just the office of the DepEd Secretary, would you issue a certification now knowing fully well that it would be used to justify an expense which you never had a hand on?
As with all Army units and AFP units, for example, if there was a multi-stakeholder activity, Mr. Chair, and someone from another agency is asking for a certification, but he or she was not present, we would not issue the certificate of appearance or any certificate for that matter. It's a standard practice for the armed forces, sir.
Thank you. How about you, Colonel Panopio?
Colonel Panopio, you are recognized.
Would you have issued the certification na alam mong...
Same question.
Yeah.
First of all, there was no mention of certification of fund in the. There was no mention of funds in the certification, Your Honor. But if we are aware that it will be used and we did not receive the money, we will not issue the certification, Your Honor.
Okay, I think that's a similar answer, Colonel Sandangan.
You are recognized,
Yes, sir.
Colonel.
I will not.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Meron pa po bang Spider-Man? Wala na po ba? So kung wala na po, do I hear a motion to suspend the hearing?
Motion to suspend, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the committee hearing of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability is hereby suspended until further notice.